What up, yo? Um, where are we at today? 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 What's up, guys? Um, straight view. Uh, So, what's up, guys? It's your boy. We're back. Um, One of the things I did want to talk about before we get into anything, honestly, um, just a reminder that you are not solid. What do I mean by that, right? I mean by that when I say like I've come into contact with people, right? And they've given me like a lot of perspective on themselves, right? The people I talk to, right? I've seen a habit in people where they feel like they're like the person they are is the person they'll always be. And while that is true, right? I think that everybody has potential for growth, and everybody has like the potential to evolve and grow, but fear and certain things, comfortability, um a lot of things play factors into why people stay the same, or why people may stay stagnant, or why people may stop growing. That's the biggest thing that I'll be thinking about, like, really, between yesterday and today. Not yesterday and today. Probably a little bit longer than that realistically, but and as far as it manifesting into something tangible, right? At what age do people, the masses, right, do they stop pouring into themselves? Right? Because in school it's about brain development, all this different types of development, but when you become an adult, responsibility takes place. It takes precedence over a lot of people's life, to where the extra time you would usually have to maybe learn about what you're interested in, or learn about where you might be falling short in life, or to learn about, you know, is your mental okay? These are the things that, people don't always have the time to deal with, right? Because they are often stuck in these states of comfortability, or also not aware that they've even stopped pouring into themselves because the responsibility has taken so much precedence. So be remember to stay mindful. Remember to stay mindful, right? I think it's literally like being mindful of yourself, be mindful of others, kind, be kind. Um, yeah, that's all I really got when it comes to that topic. I kind of just wanted to say that because I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't know who's gonna read, who's gonna see this. That's kind of why it's kind of cool doing it, because it's not so personal. Like, I'm uploading it on my social media, or posting it on like somewhere where I have a lot of people who, you know, I don't know. But this seems so much more like personal for me, right? But at the same time, I'm sharing with you guys, right? So to the random person that this video may come across, whether I know you or I don't, you know, stay mindful. Ask yourself, are you doing the right things? Are you setting the right example? Another thing, actually, before we proceed, another thing that it's kind of like a pet peeve of mine, that everybody doesn't think like this, but what can you do? What can you do? If you are a person who has influence, right? And that could be in any sort of manner, right? Because I think a lot of people underestimate the influence they have in people's lives, right? So if you are a person and you have influence, whether it's in a children's life, whether a child looks up to you, or another person looks up to you, or your opinion matters to other people, or the words that come out of your mouth, you speak it. If you're not speaking life, if you're like, the responsibility, to never deny the responsibility of influence. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you're going to, it says in the Bible that anybody that leads another person into sin, I don't know the bar word for word, but you know where I'm going. You understand what I'm saying? Like don't wish death on people. Don't tell people what they can and can't do, especially what they can't do, right? You have influence, right? Be mindful of it. Be mindful of the example you're setting and then person, the example you're setting and the person that you are, right? Don't be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite, right? Make sure that you are renewing yourself every day. Every day it's start over. A brand new process. Every single day it's start over. Right. So make sure you're renewing your mind every day because if you get stagnant, if you get stuck, or if you stop caring or you feel like this is who I am, it don't matter, I have my own opinion, it don't matter, nothing matters, it's whatever, you lost the plot. You lost the plot. That's where you lack mindfulness. Right. And a lot of people don't even realize that's the reason they lack mindfulness because you have some people have the inability to think about the person next to them. Right. And if you don't really have the ability to think about walking in the shoes of the person next to you, you should give it a shot. I'm not saying you do it all the time. I'm not saying you don't prioritize yourself, right? But I am saying that it does matter how you interact with people. It does matter if you're nice to people. It does matter if you're kind to people. It does matter if you're just making assumptions and you're judging and like these things do matter in your interpersonal relationships. Me, I do my best to not spread negative energy. I've struggled with a lot of different, I like these scratches in my arms. Um, I've struggled a lot with a lot of different things in life. You feel me? I had trials and tribulations. I've had ups and downs. But if the record is right, I would hope there's nobody out there that could say that I was rude to them, I was mean to them, I wasn't kind. I really do try my best, and it takes a lot. I'll be honest. It takes a lot to be mindful. It's not easy. When I used to be in the Navy and I used to be on deployment or getting ready to get out the military, and all I could think about every day is, you know, my life, you know, and I'm not really too happy in my environment. But when I walk into work every day, I got sailors who look at me for direction. You feel me? So I can't sit there and take that into work. You feel me? The same way a person, if you got something going on at work, to be mindful and not take that not take that home. Don't take that to your family. Right. But that applies to everything. Like if you tight, there's no reason to take that out on somebody. Just don't assume, communicate. Communication is so, so, so vital. And I think if people just communicated a little bit more, if we just shared a little bit more, if we were just a little bit more transparent with each other, a little bit more honest with each other, that a lot of things would change for the better. You feel me? A lot of things. But pride, yo, pride, 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 pride kills a lot. You feel me? Pride is it gets in the way of things. Um, Pride is the devil. Pride is the devil, And because of that, you gotta kill it. You gotta kill it. You gotta kill it. But let's read some for a little bit before I know I did a lot of talking without reading, but let's read some. Sharpen our tools. All right. The woman and the dragon. One sec. So, the woman and the dragon. A great sign appeared in heaven: a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven: an enormous dragon with 7 heads, 10 horns, 7 crowns on its heads. Its tail swept a third of the stars out the sky and flung them onto the earth. I'm going to assume, I'm not going to assume, but something's telling me it's the devil. Its tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky. Well, I know it's the devil. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth so that it might devour her child in the moment he was born. The dragon wanted to devour her child in the moment he was born. She gave birth to a son, a male child who will rule all the nations with an iron scepter. And her child was snatched up to God and to his throne. The woman fled into the wilderness to a place prepared for her by God where she might be taken care of for 1,260 days. Then a war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels. I feel like I read this part already, but maybe I need to read it again. Then a war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, who leads the world astray. He was hurled into the earth, and his angels with him. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven say, "Now have come the salvation and the power." Oh, so when the devil came down, he hurled to the earth and his angels with him. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven say, "Oh, so loud voice in heaven. Now have come the salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brothers and sisters, who accuses them before our God day and night, has been hurled down. They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them, but woe to the earth and to the sea, because the devil has gone down to you. He is filled with fury because he knows that his time is short." So in the end times, the devil will rise and fall again. Will fall again. This will be a cycle. What if we're in the revelation right now? Because timelines are stretched, right? Because between each sentence could be 100 years. How long did it take him to go from the earth, from heaven to the earth? Is that a long trip? Is that a long journey in the spirit world? Or do you just teleport? I don't know. I'm just, When the dragon saw that he had been hurled down to the earth, he pursued the woman who had been given birth to the male child. Sounds like the devil wants to tempt. The woman was given wings of a great eagle so that she might fly to the place prepared for her in the wilderness, where she would be taken care of for a time and half a time out of where she would be taken care of for a time, times, and half a time out of the serpent's reach. Then from his mouth, the serpent spewed water like a river to overtake the woman and sweep her away with the torrent. But the earth helped the woman by opening its mouth. So the earth opened its mouth, swallowed the river that the dragon spewed out of it. And the dragon was enraged at the woman who went on to wage war against the rest of her offspring. Those who keep God's commands and hold fast their testimony about Jesus. So I think this is pretty cool, right? I think this is pretty cool. It's something I wanted to show you guys I saw yesterday, right? Something I wanted to show you guys that I saw yesterday. So there is this picture I came across, and I didn't know if it was real at first, but I thought it was very interesting. Doesn't hurt to show anybody. So I came across it because it speaks about this dragon that spewed water out of his mouth, and then the earth helped and swallowed it up. And people were like, they drew lines and connections to this, right? Let me see if I can find it for you guys. All right, so follow me, follow me. So as you can see here, we are on Google Maps. Can you see this? Can you see this? Hold on, three, two, one. All right. So if you take this map, okay, so we have a little dilemma. This map does not show like it doesn't show, all right, South Georgia and South Sandwich Island. So I think that's what I'm looking for. All right, do we have Google Earth? Let's Google Earth. Let's Google Earth. We gonna Google Earth. All right. We're gonna do Google Earth. Mm, Man, I ain't been on Google Earth in a little minute. Bear with me. So if we go over here to South America, get these clouds up out of here. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? Look at that, right? So it talks about this giant dragon, right? This giant snake. And somebody pointed out that this right here in the water, they feel like they believe looks like there might be a creature under the water. Like this might be the face of a dragon, the head of a dragon, right? Now, this is the head of something that is looks big enough to spew water out like a river. But it said the earth helped out and it opened up a hole to swallow the river. Now, if we take a look at these islands, right? If we take a look at these islands here on the nose of the creature, right? You come across the Central Islands, Saunders Island. So this is Saunders Island. That's not the island we're looking for, though, guys. I think we're looking for this island right here. Vindication Island. Circle Point. Look at these islands. Do you see them though? Are they not oddly? Do you guys think they're oddly placed? Like these islands. And it's weird because they're all like volcanoes, right? They're kind of all volcanoes. And it's like, so you telling me this just happened? This just happened? They're all like these volcanoes. And then they're all spread out. They're all spread out in a way that just resembles you know? But if that is the dragon, or it could easily be a Leviathan or things like that. Look at that thing. It's huge, right? That's just a little some don't don't trip on it too much. You feel me? Just get right with the Lord. Don't trip on it too much. Trip on it too much. You feel me? But where was I? Where was I? Where was I? All right. So let's get back to it. So now you guys saw that. Yeah, I don't know. If is that the dragon? Is that the beast? I don't know. But I thought it was in, so I thought I'd share it. Um, Revelation 13, the beast out of the sea. The dragon stood on the shore of the sea and saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, right? It had 10 horns and 7 heads on the, and on each head a blasphemous name. So watch this. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, and on each head a blasphemous name. Forgive me, guys, but I low key want to go back to matter of fact, matter of fact. So it said, I kind of want to, let me see if I can see this on my phone. Right? On each, it said 7. This is the skill of cross referencing, you know? But it may work, it may not. So as you can see here, I have my phone, right? I have my phone, right? So on my phone, if I zoom into my Google Maps on my phone, that same shape is there. Let me bring you up big screen. All right. So if I zoom you guys in on my phone, the same shape is there, as you can see. All right. It said 7 East Scotia Ridge. How many heads? 7 heads and 10 horns. How many islands? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 7 islands. Isn't that wild? Listen, all right, no, really, really hear me out. So it's the islands, right? That I couldn't really get to zoom before. It's 7 islands. It's 7 islands. This says 7 islands, 7 heads and 10 horns. And on each head, a blasphemous name. So on each head, there was a blasphemous name, right? I'm going to zoom in on my phone and show you because it wasn't necessarily letting me zoom in, right? So first off, the first island, just so you guys see that I'm zooming in on, right? So let's zoom in on an island, right? Look at this. Look at this. Now I want you to tell me. So on this island, we have on this island, we have Mount Andromeda. Can you guys see that? Mount Andromeda. Now, if you go up, what is that? Gorgon Pool. What is a gorgon? Medusa Pool. What? Vulcan Point. Don't all of these sound kind of sick? This is all over the island. This is all over. Look at this. Look at the top of the island. I don't know if you can see that. This is Demon Point. You see that? It says Demon Demon Point. What? Right? So on each head a blasphemous name. So that means if my math is right, each one of these islands should have a, if that is the case. That might not be the case very well. It could very well not be the case because not all of these have a name. Well, at least not on here. They don't all have a name. This one with Mount Andromeda has a name. The other ones just have these mountains. But there is 7 of them, right? There is 7 of them. And you know what's funny about where it's located? Oh, so this one has a name too. We have a Darnley. Mount Darnley. Isn't that odd? Isn't that so odd? And you know what else is weird about it? That is where you look at the area on the map where it is located, right? Like right down there, South America. That's where the supposed bloop was recorded also. Right? But that's all conspiracy. Nobody knows the day nor the time, you know. That's just like the side of me that's like all into like superheroes and mythic stuff, you know. I'd be interested in getting a head start, but realistically, there's no head start. There's no head start you're gonna get on Revelation. The Lord will come when He's ready. All your job is to only prepare. Only prepare. I know I could talk about these things, but don't let them consume you. Don't let them consume you because they'll steer you. They'll steer you wrong. So have self control. Get back to it. The beast out of the sea. The dragon stood on the shore. Oh, yeah, I can't even see. This chapter, and then I'll be here. Yeah. So the beast out of the sea. The dragon stood on the shore and saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns, 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horn, and each head had a blasphemous name. The beast saw I resembled a leopard, but had feet of those of a bear. The beast saw I resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear and a mouth of a lion. The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne. So this is where I do try to be a little bit more mindful, I will be honest, right? So so it's prophesied that the beast will come and give its power, right, and throne to somebody, right? That I'm assuming would be the Antichrist, right? So this where having the discernment is very important because they're gonna also try to give the people the mark of the beast, right? And if you don't know, if you can't discern what is good and what is bad because you're stuck in the world, you're not going to know whether to take on the mark of the beast or not. Or if you are taking on the mark of the beast, maybe because a lot of people will be done out of ignorance. You understand? But to all that shall hear, let them hear. I just don't want it to be by accident. Like, I don't want to be sitting there, I'm trying to get the new Subway sandwich that somebody promoting or something. Subway, Junior, Subway. But I don't want to be getting a new Subway sandwich and like, oh, got you. You got the mark. You feel me? I don't think it would happen like that, but it's better to be safer than sorry. The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and great authority. One of the heads on the beast seemed to have a fatal wound. One of the heads of the beast seemed to have a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. See, now hold on. Run it back. This changes things, right? Because we were just looking at those seven islands, but one of the heads of the beast seemed to have a fatal wound. That makes me think now the beast, right, with seven heads can represent a group of people that have a certain level of power or authority, right? And that's very weird because I remember thinking about Mr. Trump was talking about how he was gonna start a board of peace. And I was like, bro, who's about to be on a board of peace with you not being peaceful? You not peaceful. You feel me? And I'm like, bro, don't be trying to. If I see any type of world power, world group come together, you feel me? This is where the discernment will click in because this is where politics is also important because who has a lot of the power in the world? And people who lack spirit will follow their government if their government is feeding them lies. The devil is all about deceit, right? But your government can easily be deceiving you as well to be supporting things that aren't beneficial to the world, maybe beneficial to your nation, but salvation is for all nations. There's no sides you choose it. You feel me? There's no sides. So be very, very aware. The dragon gave his beast and his power and great authority. One of the heads seemed to have a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. The whole world was filled with wonder and followed the beast. The whole world was filled with wonder and followed the beast. Now, the beast seemed to have a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. Now, be mindful of this, right? Because a lot of people's faith in Jesus come from the resurrection. Now, if somebody has a fatal wound, if the beast has a fatal wound as well, and the fatal wound has been healed, how many people may think this person is resurrected? You understand? The whole world is filled with wonder. So now they're like, oh my God, this thing just resurrected. Oh my. They're filled with wonder and they follow the beast because they've been shown signs and wonders, right? But the people worship the dragon because he had given authority to the beast. So these people are being deceived. They're being deceived, and they also worship the beast. Ask, who is like the beast? Who can wage war against it? The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies and exercise his authority for 42 months. 42 months utter proud words and blasphemies. So 42 months, we're looking for 42 months of somebody, right, proclaiming themselves to be to blaspheme the Holy Spirit, right? Somebody whose heart is completely hardened, who feels no sympathy for their actions. It's opened its mouth to blaspheme God and to slander his name and his dwelling place and who live in heaven, and has given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them, and has given authority over people of my tribe, people of my language and nation. All inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast, not I, all whose names have not been written in the Lamb's book of life, and the Lamb who was slain of the creation of the world. All that don't know, they will be worshiping the beast because they're not going to know no better. All whose names have not been written in the Lamb's book of life, the Lamb who was slain from the creation of the world, Jesus Christ. Whoever has ears, let them hear. If anyone is to go into captivity they will go. And if anyone is to be killed with the sword they will be killed. And this is so important too, because if things do hit the fan, right? When things hit the fan, because it's prophecy, so it will hit the fan. When things do hit the fan, people will be scared to die. That's just cutthroat reality. People will be scared to die and they will do whatever they can to stay alive if their faith isn't strong in what is after death, which is eternal life. This temporary body is temporary, but eternal life is afterward. But they will only get that if they have the faith enough to stick to their guns. You feel me? To not depart from the Holy Spirit. But there will be powers of this world, the beast, that will try to get you to turn away. If anyone is to be killed with the sword they will be killed. The sacrifices. If anyone is to go into captivity, if they're like, listen, you're either gonna do this or you're going to jail. Lock me up. You feel me? You gotta have heart. You gotta have guns. That's what separates men from beasts. Beasts have no morals. A beast sees a deer with a baby and is like, yeah, it's up. It don't matter. It don't matter. I don't care how long you've been on earth. I don't care nothing. I'm a beast. This is what I do. I devour. A human is capable of sympathy, thought. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's not worth it. Maybe I'll fast. Maybe I'll deny my flesh. Beasts don't do this. Beasts don't fast. Beasts don't deny their flesh. Beasts are all flesh. Beast out of the earth. Then I saw a second beast coming out of the earth that had two horns like the lamb, but spoke like a dragon. It exercised all the authority of the first beast on its behalf and made the earth of its inhabitants worship the first beast whose fatal wound had been healed. So these two people are working in cahoots. And it performed great signs, even causing fire to come down from heaven to the earth in full view of the people. You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like a bomb or war. It performed great signs, even causing fire to come down to the earth in full view for the people. But think about this show of power that would have people submit to you because of the signs it was given, the power to perform on its behalf of the first beast. It deceived the inhabitants of the earth. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. The second beast was given the power to give breath to the image of the first beast so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive the mark on their right hands and on their forehead so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark. Now imagine this. Imagine a society that is like, now you think about today's day and age where citizenship is so prominent, right? Think about how important citizenship is. Do you belong? Do you not belong? You don't belong, get out of here, right? So we're dividing the people, right? Some people have access to certain things, some people don't. Now we're talking about it forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand and on their forehead so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark. Now, mind you, if you've never fasted, right, if you've never denied your flesh, and now these people are telling you, hey, well, you can't consume anything. We didn't program all of this into you for years. Now you can't consume anything unless you have the mark. So that new iPhone you want, nah. What you're addicted to, your confines, even you rich people that gave up all your morals or whatever, that you want to buy something, your money's worth nothing. You can't buy or sell. I don't care how much money you got. This is for the rich. I don't care if you're poor. You can't buy or sell unless you take the mark. Take the mark. It don't matter. I don't care if you're rich and you donated so much money to the churches. Take the mark. Take the mark. I dare you. I dare you. Take the mark. Which is the name of the beast and calls for his name. It calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of man. The number is 666. I'm going to stop. We're going to stop. We're going to stop the lamb and the 144,000. But we're going to leave this here. Thank you. Thank you. Focus. Focus. Thank you for watching. If you did. If you didn't, it's all right. Oh, I love guys. Don't worry. You will. Let me